Ben, I'm Harley. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I just wanted to know, as a self-proclaimed lifelong movie fan, how it felt tonight to be called a modern master.
Well, I think it feels a little absurd. I feel embarrassed. I mean, one thing is, so the only way I rationalize it is by saying this is really about Argo, which I am very proud of, and I am very proud of all the people who worked on that movie and who made it really special for me. So to me, that's what this is about. I think my modernity is, frankly, in serious question.
Now, look at the crowds in the rain. They love you, and you're very deserving of this.
It's very nice for people to have come out here in the rain. Once again, I feel like they're waiting for Justin Bieber. They told them Justin Bieber was going to be here.
It's all about you, Ben. It's all about you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Please welcome Executive Director of the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, Roger Durling.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of the 28th Santa Barbara International Film Festival, presented by lynda.com. And what an amazing evening. You know, the Mother Master Award, which is actually the centerpiece of the festival, the most important event for the festival. And this year goes to Ben Affleck. You know, honestly, I'm just thrilled we're able to honor Ben Affleck with the Mother Master. It's an award that goes to a Renaissance artist, somebody who excels as a writer, director, producer, actor, and Ben Affleck. It's an understatement, especially after the past few years that he's proving himself to be one of the best directors working out there today. But it is my honor to introduce the co-founders of lynda.com, who are presenting not just the entire festival, but they're also the main sponsors of tonight's event. And they're the most generous philanthropists and amazing friends you could ever have. Please welcome founders of lynda.com, Bruce Haven and Linda Wyman.
So it's curiosity, and it's this thing that I think bridges the gap between what we do at lynda.com and the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. I like to believe that curiosity is the gateway drug to learning. And I really do. And I think film is for the curious. And it really allows us to see the world through the eyes of the storyteller.
We're extremely honored to be the presenting sponsors. We're so proud of this film festival and grateful to Roger Durling and the staff and all the volunteers, and extremely excited tonight to witness this wonderful retrospective and deliver this award to Ben Affleck. Thank you all very much.
But I also have to acknowledge one person who I'm about to introduce, and is the moderator of this evening. A couple of days ago, somebody asked me, this is my 10th year running the film festival, and they were asking me, you know, how come the festival has grown in stature so much in the past decade? And one of the reasons why the festival has the prestige that it has is because of Leonard Maltin. Leonard Maltin has been a friend of the festival for so many years. He always hosts the Modern Master Award. He is one of the best regarded critics in the world. He's one of the best interviewers out there. Ben, you're in for quite a treat to have the honor to be seated with the great Leonard Maltin, having a conversation. Leonard has sat on this stage with Clint Eastwood. He's sat with Jodie Foster and Kate Blanchett and so many, George Clooney, and he's elevated our festival. He's elevated this event. I am so indebted to his wife, Alice Maltin, to his daughter, Jessie Maltin, and to him. They've embraced Santa Barbara, and I can't say enough about him. He's been doing this for 22 years. Since 1991, he did a tribute with Kim Novak on the stage, and the Modern Master is Leonard Maltin. So please give the warmest possible reception to the great Modern Master Leonard Maltin.
What an introduction, my God. Wow, sounded like my obit. But I know Roger's sincere, and I really appreciate it. Well, let me tell you why I come back every year and why I love doing this. First, because I love Santa Barbara. My family and I love Santa Barbara. And I'm not pandering to the audience, we really do. So this is a great reason for us to get up here for a nice weekend. But the other reason, and I love this festival because Santa Barbara supports this festival. And you people don't just come to the star-studded events, you show up for foreign films and independent films and documentaries all during the length of the festival. And that doesn't happen everywhere. Believe me, I've traveled to some other festivals in other cities around the country where they don't get that kind of real full-bodied support. So that impresses me greatly. But the real reason is that I get to sit here and have an evening's conversation with some of the most talented people on the planet. And we review their career and we show clips and all that, but it's a chance for me to spend some quality time. You just happen to be there listening. I would do it if there was no one out there. So it's a pleasure and a privilege for me. So thank you all for being here and for being here every year. And I'll keep coming until they stop asking. So, tonight, show business can be very fickle, can be a fickle mistress. And the public can be fickle too. And no one knows that better than our honoree tonight, who has had his share of lumps and ups and downs in his career, most of them not of his own making. And, but boy, when you're hot, because he has given us such a sensational film this year, which I might point out, and will, is his third bullseye. If you didn't see Gone Baby Gone or The Town, you're behind the curve. Argo is just the latest. It's his third really exceptional film as director and star and producer, all of those things. So, I hope this success tastes sweet to him, all the sweeter for having been through some rough patches, because he's earned all of this. He's earned certainly our respect. One of the other things about a tribute like this is, nothing is history when you're doing it. Whatever you do for a living every day, day to day, you do it. You don't think about it in terms of retrospect or posterity. You just do it. And that's true, although it's hard for us to understand sometimes, for filmmakers and actors as well. And it's only when a certain span of time has elapsed that we and they have a chance to stop for a moment and look back and say, wait a minute, I've done all that? Look at what I've done. Or we say, look at what they've done. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Ben Affleck is still a young man, but he's been at this for a while. And he's got an impressive resume and a varied assortment of films on his roster, on his credits. And we're going to dip into that tonight. I think we'll have a good time watching the films and talking about them as well. So let's start with a little overview of Ben Affleck on screen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Affleck.
Thank you very much. Very kind, Mr. Dustin. You're a good man. Take it back. Take it back. Thank you. It's a big house.
Yes, it sure is.
Oh, well, hello. Those were a lot of memories. Sort of mixed feelings about that reel, but thanks to whoever put it together because they did a lovely job.
That's a hell of a scene.
Yeah, they're both really good there. Sure. I might take out the part of the snacks and the thing if I saw it. About that. But yeah, it's fun to watch that scene. That was Morgan's first day, and he came to the set, and we were sort of dragging. And he didn't go back to his trailer, you know what I mean? He's got such a presence and a gravitas, so he just sat in his chair while they turned around and moved the camera. And it was like you never saw a crew move so fast. They were just like, Morgan's waiting for us. It was really, really fun.
Now, again, as a layman who doesn't do this, people like me sometimes wonder, well, does Morgan Freeman need to be directed? Does Morgan Freeman want to be directed?
Not much, He's like, we do a couple of takes, and I was like, I thought maybe we just do one more Morgan. Why? Why are we going to do one more? Why? What for? I thought it might be good. I thought maybe it's something. So you're happy with what you did? Well, I'm happy. Are you telling me you happy? I'm medium happy. You do one more, and you're like, one more, all right, that's it, one more, let's go. Here we go, one more now, here we go. Yeah. The thing about Morgan is that he actually has done it so much. He knows, he really is one of those pros. Like, he sees what he's doing. Ed Harris is kind of like that, too. You kind of look at his first take, and you're like, that's pretty good. You look at take two, that's pretty good. They're all pretty fucking good, you know what I mean? And so is Morgan. And you really don't, I like to do a lot of takes, and so I sort of fall into that trap. And I have to recalibrate with a guy like that, where he's just so sharp, and so, you don't even really appreciate all the things he's doing until you see it later. So after the first couple of days, he'd kind of do one or two takes, and I was like, what do you think, Morgan, all set? All right, all set.
Why do you like to do a lot of takes?
I like to do a lot of takes because a couple of reasons that don't apply to a guy like Morgan Freeman. One, I like to create like a sense of relaxation, and if you just do one take and then another take, eventually you just it's not about the slate and saying go and action and am I going to say my line, and getting nervous and thinking about the course of the scene. It's just like, you've done it enough. Shooting, when you're rolling the camera, it feels the same as when you're not. And I also like to have actors feel like they get a chance to do whatever they want instead of this fear of, I got to get it quick before they're going to move on. There's no move on, there's no get it quick. We have all the time in the world. Let's just do 6 takes and just without even talking about it. And you do them and go, okay, let's just do a few more. And you do a few more and then go, why don't you be a little more scared? You know what I mean? That is not the Morgan approach. But that is an approach that I've found with actors who are a little bit less experienced and masterful and want to experiment a little bit more.
Now, we're going to look at a scene from The Town in just a minute, and in which you direct yourself. It's the first time you did that. You've done it again in Argo. The logical part of my brain gets it, but emotionally I still don't understand how you do both of those things. Because directing is requires a certain skill set, and acting requires an entirely different skill set, plus focus. As an actor, you've got to be in the moment and you're, inhabiting that part you're playing, and that's all you want to be thinking about. And as a director, you have to be thinking about everything else. So how do you do it?
To me, I sort of bifurcate the experience, where I think about being a director in the morning, and when I'm get ready, and I think about being a director as I'm going to shoot everybody else. And I know I kind of carve aside my coverage and the stuff where you're going to see me, or the stuff where I'm likely to use my stuff. And then I take like some time and sort of go think for a minute about what I'm doing and how it's going to work and what I want to try. And then we go in and shoot. And I just, with myself, I really do I talk to Kevin Costner, I talk to Mark Ruffalo, I talk to all these actors who had written, every single one of them, Clooney, said, shoot more coverage of yourself than you think you need. Don't be gallant. And when it gets to your close-up, go, oh, we'll just do one, and then it's fine, And I really took that to heart, and I just shoot, I just stay rolling until I burn off 1,000-foot mag after 1,000-foot mag. Film comes in 1,000 foot. It's about 11 minutes worth of film, a canister that gets affixed to the camera. And so I just will crank through a bunch of that stuff without ever trying to direct myself or anything. And as an actor, you have a little bit of a barometer of when it's good and when it isn't, you know what I mean? Which is why you might hate doing some movies and love doing others. And you go, well, this is feeling right. And then I watch playback, like a take or two, and either it feels like it matches up with my idea of it, or you just go, ooh, no, we gotta keep going. And then I just do a couple more, try a few more things, and basically just stop thinking about it, sock it away. I always give myself a couple extra weeks in post as an editor to look through all my material. And the thing about being hating to hear your own voice on the voicemail is that I'm so highly critical and sensitized to my stuff, so that I can just be like, nope, just burn through 12 takes really fast. And you go, okay, take 13, okay, that one line is okay, this other piece. So I actually am able to identify the things I like later on and then calibrate them and build them in.
That's tough.
It's a lot.
That's hard.
It really just takes, I've acted plenty, so I feel comfortable doing that. It's more that it just carves into the bandwidth of your time as a director to focus on all this other stuff, because directing, is monumentally complicated, and again, is a function of the amount of time you pay to it. So sometimes I think, God, it would be great to go do a movie that I'm not in, because, you know what I mean? I could just eat Fritos and sit at the monitor and be like, yeah, it's good. It's good. One day.
One question completely off topic. As you've spent the last, 19 months just talking about Argo, right? I mean, you made it like 3 years ago. You've been talking about it a long, long time now. And
bored some people here tonight.
But as you move forward and you think about what you want to do next, what you'd like to do next, what kind of properties you're looking for, do you think that those decisions are affected by being a father of 3 children?
Anything I do as an artist, in the arts, as a filmmaker, I consider all of it a kind of art, Believe me, the standard for art has gone way down in my house, by the way. Here you go. Thank you, honey. It hangs all over my office. It's abstract. I think that doing, this kind of work does get informed by those kids, by the little paintings they give you, by the way they look at you, by the way that you look at them, and mostly by the way you see yourself kind of reflected off of them into the universe, and the way that reflection is very changed from what it used to be, in a sense of what my goals were, what my desires were, the way that I see things in the world. My kids already see, they go with me outside, they hear people talk to me, you can't stop them from reading little flashes of things on the newspaper or the internet, and they see stuff about their dad, and it makes it profoundly important to me to do work that has integrity and that I'm proud of. It means a great deal, you know what I mean? I had a great time in life when I was running around and doing Pearl Harbor and stuff, and that was fun. And that was a different era for me. And this era, this last 7 years, I guess, is something also new, but something incredibly rewarding and something that's opened a whole door where you go, God, I wish I could have known at 15 that this is actually what life is about.
Yeah.
This is what it means. And I never saw that or anticipated or could internalize that. But maybe I wouldn't have believed it then, or I wouldn't have been able to understand.
No one can explain it to you. No one can prepare you for it. You just have to experience it.
Yeah.
But are you watching movies differently because you watch some movies with your kids?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, there's a lot of censorship you have to do. You have to watch the movie first, then there's a lot of explaining. I don't know where they get stuff, what they watch. Like, as far as I know, they're just watching like Wreck-It Ralph and Pixar and stuff. And my daughter came in yesterday and was like, "What? How do people smuggle drugs?" Like, is that in Pocahontas? What? So it's definitely whack-a-mole in terms of keeping all this stuff, and trying to navigate it. The Pixar movies are really good. It's sweet. They like Sound of Music, There's this little question in this like American Girl questionnaire that came with one of her dolls. I'm sure some people know about American Girl out there. And they, yes, $120 for an American Girl doll. And it says, like, who is your favorite celebrity or movie star? My daughter put down Julie Christie. I was like, yes! Very sweet. So there's trying to help them along. And as they get a little older, naturally, our responsibility is to help them see it more responsibly, to contextualize the world for them, to contextualize the arts. They face a lot of challenges. There's a lot of challenges for us, all of us, bringing up our children and trying to figure out how to do it right. And, I think the central challenge of one's lifetime is trying to make good people.
Yeah.
And that's, it's not easy. And in terms of talking about the movie, it is satisfying in a way. It's like I've done movies where like I run out of gas of things to talk about in the first 20 seconds of the junket interview, like, so what else do you got? The movie, I run around, people follow me. This is the kind of film where I haven't run out of, with Argo, ability to talk about it. It's kind of eerily current. And for one thing, I mean, it examines issues that are really the forefront of American foreign policy today in terms of our relationship with Iran, this intractable conflict, how we got there, what is the sort of degree of oppression inside of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and what can we do about it, and what ramifications does it have more broadly, and what's the role of our foreign service folks serving us, overseas.
The Secretary of State just cited your movie the other day, talking about Benghazi.
You know how much that costs? I'm going to be out there handing out Hillary 16 stickers for... I think, in producing a movie like this has these challenges of, in a way, it has been exciting because as a director, as a filmmaker, and as an actor, and Chris Terry wrote the script, which he did a great job of. As a producer, you get to address some of this holistic stuff, and that's been really interesting, and that's been able to sustain this conversation, and it makes it fun. Whereas in the past, this process gets trying.
Yeah. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate you on being the recipient of the Golden Tomato.
Yes.
From Rotten Tomatoes. As being the highest scoring film of 2012. So,
I'm bringing that average up bit by bit. Yeah, that was really fun. I was actually proud. I don't know if you get a real tomato. I would like one. Because you can put it up there and show off to people when they come into your house that you got a good tomato score. I do look at the tomatoes thing. That's a great aggregator, and it spares you having to read, like the pointed barbs, for example. You can just look at it and go, okay, 30, fine. You know what I mean? And also when it's nice, you just sort of look at it and you don't have to sort through it all. You just go, okay, this is great. This makes me feel good.
Yeah. Why not? Well, we're going to look at Ben's previous film as director and co-star, The Town, a great film, and your current film, which is still making ripples and making money, and it's a film to be proud of, and tomato or no tomato, to be really proud of, Argo. So here are The Town and Argo.
Please welcome the president of the board of the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, Doug Stone.
First of all, Ben, thank you very much. One more time for Ben Affleck. And I don't think we could have gotten such a great evening without Leonard Maltin. So one more time for Leonard. So we're almost done, but good evening. I am Doug Stone, the president of the board of the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, and welcome to the Modern Master Award. I have the honor tonight of introducing the presenter of the award. He is a much admired and respected actor who has starred in dozens of films, including playing Private Ryan and Saving Private Ryan, Jason Bourne in the Bourne trilogy, and of course, portraying on screen the character he co-created with his longtime friend, Ben Affleck, the role of Will Hunting in Good Will Hunting. Also a writer and producer, a humanitarian and a philanthropist, and he just flew in tonight to do this. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Academy Award winner, Matt Damon.
Thank you. Thank you. This thing is seriously heavy. This is a serious award, man. So, a modern master. Okay. I'll tell you what. When we were kids, we started really looking at movies when Ben was 14 and I was 16, and we'd go to Somerville, as he said, to the Assembly Square Mall, which was, they had the big pictures there, or Fresh Pond, or in Harvard Square, and it was usually the same little group of guys. It was Ben and me and Casey. And our other friend who Ben mentioned tonight, Aaron Stockard, who wrote Gone Baby Gone and The Town with Ben. And then a few other friends of ours. But predominantly we all became screenwriters, by either on purpose or by accident. And we'd come out of these movies and, we saw all kinds of movies. And, we just loved movies. We worked at a movie theater, actually, one summer, tearing tickets and serving popcorn and the only movie they played was Dead Poets Society, which is a movie we both auditioned for and didn't get. So, I don't know, some form of bizarre self-torture that we got jobs at the movie theater that was playing Dead Poets Society and had to watch, the exiting crowds weeping every night as they... But at any rate, we loved movies, but we'd come out of these movies and we'd say, what'd you guys think? And we'd have a little note session in the parking lot, and, inevitably, well, it was stupid, I don't like it. And we'd have these kind of real adolescent notes, and then we'd get to Ben, who would have been quiet to that point, uncharacteristically. And, well, what'd you think? And he'd go, well, it didn't quite work for me, but had they done this and this and this at the beginning, what you could have done in the middle was you could have had a scene where you did this, and then they could have had a great scene at the end where you could have done that. And we go, holy shit. That's a really good movie. It's just a skill that he had, and I don't know if it was, he was born with it, but he had it when he was 14, when we started going to movies together. It was just that thing where he could lift up the hood and look at the engine and get in there and take it apart and put it back together, and the whole thing would run smoother. And it's what made him such a great writing partner. He could problem solve. And so much of filmmaking is just that. It's just problem solving and decision making in real time. That's the same skill that got him in a lot of well, mediocre movies for a patch there. You know, 10, 15 years ago, I'd read a script of a movie he was doing. He'd signed on to do the movie, and I'd read it, and I'd go, why are you doing this? You know, it's a horrible problem in Act 1, and they don't solve it in Act 2, and it gets worse in Act 3. And he goes, I know, but if you do this, 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 and this movie's going to be fantastic. And I'd go, you're absolutely right. The problem was he wasn't directing the movies. And in our business, the director is God, and the director is also your boss. And like a good soldier, he would plead his case, but eventually he'd do what the director wanted, and the problems that were evident to him at the very beginning were evident to him at the premiere. So here he is now, and he's made 3 fantastic movies, one better than the next. And one thing I've learned is that you cannot make a great movie by accident. Anybody who makes a great movie is a great director, period. That's true. Because the director is responsible for literally everything. The framing of the shot, where the camera is, what the actors are wearing, the color of the walls, the color of the drapes, the color of the scarf around the leading lady's neck, the way she says that line, everything. It's all manipulated, and every single decision. These directors are making hundreds and hundreds of decisions a day over hundreds of days. You just can't do it by accident. It's literally impossible. And Ben's made these 3 great movies. And this last one, Argo, is a legitimately great movie that's already, you know, it's nominated for Best Picture, and it's already won the Golden Globe for Best Picture, and for Ben for Best Director, and no one's going to be surprised if it wins the Oscar for Best Picture. And so here I am with my, you know, my buddy is without question a great director. And so when I was contemplating this whole master thing, I guess the only thing I could say is please welcome somebody who is undeniably 2 things. My very old friend and a very young master. It's heavy, man.
Thank you very much. This is indeed a lot. I want to say thank you to Matt Damon, who, when he gets this award, I hope will invite me here to give a speech about him. Mine will be a bit more of a roast, because so many of the brilliant characteristics of Matt are so blatantly self-evident. Matt Damon actually is brilliant. We traffic in these adjectives and in hyperbole in this business an awful lot. So it's rare to actually know a genius. And I know that Matt's a genius because I know him, and I've known him for more than 30 years. I've seen him do about everything you can do, including we played sports together. I even saw him in the shower, which is why that was a nice speech, because you don't roast somebody who's seen you in the shower. But what I've seen about Matt is who he really is. So I know, and I've seen what I consider to be the entire range of his personality, his emotions, his life experience, more or less. So when I go see a movie that Matt's in, and I see a fully realized, deeply nuanced, completely complicated person who not only have I never met, I've never even seen, not for a second. I am humbled, and I am completely blown away. Matt talked about directors. There are a lot of things that I would have cause to envy Matt over. The one thing I probably envy him the most is Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, the Coen brothers. Help me out. A whole shitload of directors who are geniuses. Clint Eastwood, twice. Cameron Crowe. I mean, on and on. Matt has worked with basically all the great directors who can still get up out of a chair. And the reason why is because they're great directors and they can recognize greatness. And they've seen it in Matt, and so have all of you, and so has America, and so have international film-going audiences, and so have I. And my getting the award. I'm just riffing. I have nothing written. So. You killed me. What's up my bill? I am lucky because I saw it before all of you. So thank you very much to Matt. Now on to my 10-page written remarks. I want to thank Leonard Maltin, who was very kind to me. I appreciate that. And he got to remind me of some work and some coworkers that I'm really proud of, and he spared me some other stuff, and kind of made it look good too by showing a few other ones. So thank you very much. You know, it's an honor. I mean, Jesus, to be here accepting this award that says Modern Master. I certainly don't feel like a master of anything. I don't even feel that modern, honestly. I have like a 90s greatest hits cassette tape in my car. I basically feel like a filmmaker, and that's it. I feel like a filmmaker who tries to forge on past desperation and terror to do the best job they can to try to express myself, to ruminate on themes that seem to me, interesting or relevant or powerful, and to try to produce movies that I would be interested in seeing. In fact, that's the only metric that I really know of, when looking at my own work and making my own judgments, and looking at the finished material and thinking to myself, is this something I think has any value? Does this feel like a genuine effort? It's sort of like getting married. You have to find someone you'll still be in love with years and years from now. And I'm lucky I found both the right woman and the right partners over time to work with. Yeah, my wife is at home, but I love her. And they say, this word says, Modern Master, and that is quite wonderful. And I did look it up. Leo was younger than me when he got it. So, this isn't some flagrant offense. But I know that this movie is really about, this award is really about Argo. And it's a movie that's made an impression, I guess, unlike any other movie I've ever worked on. The Iranians themselves are producing a sequel to the movie. It was my first successful franchise. I was really actually pretty thrilled, and then Grant told me that Clooney was producing it. So, I don't know, we'll see. The truth is, I got lucky producing this movie. I got lucky working with Rodrigo Prieto, who shot the movie. I got lucky working with Sharon Seymour, who was the production designer. I got lucky working with William Goldenberg, who edited the movie. I got lucky working with the great Alan Arkin, the great Bryan Cranston, the great John Goodman. I was basically surrounded with good fortune, And there were 120 other speaking parts in this movie. Some people who, with just one line in Farsi, but all of whom showed up committed and ready to work and who wanted to kill. And I think that's reflected in the movie. I worked with amazing and talented people. While it says my name next to the producer and the director, you know, in truth, I actually did very little in comparison to the sum total of the work that those artists brought to this project. The lesson I learned, as I said earlier, is partnership. It's empowering other people not only to do their job, but to express the full range of their skills in their job, and to let them understand that that's welcome, and to let them understand that nothing that's worthwhile can be done. It isn't a collective effort, you know. And I learned that if you give them support and room, people will kill for you. And the lesson I learned, the only real wisdom I have to offer, is that if there's a mastery, it's in partnership. Thank you very much. Here or in front of you?